I believe this nation and this government need to change their whole approach to the issue of racial equity. That's why I issued, in one of the first days, my whole of government executive order that will, for the first time, advance equity for all throughout our federal policies and institutions.
The equity-focused aspect of the American Rescue Plan.
In one word.
Life-saving.
Transformative. Innovative.
Vital.
It set a precedent for a move from the domain of simply talking about values of equity and get to the rigor of measuring it and holding ourselves accountable by those measures.
The ARPA investment by the federal government is the largest infusion of funds to local government since the Great Depression.
It was first to stop the bleeding, to stop the pain, to stop the layoffs, the crushing poverty, evictions. But secondly, we empowered local communities in a way they had never been empowered before.
No matter what you value, you measure what you value, and then you value what you measure.
So we wanted to follow the money to see what transpired with the funding, find best practices, find examples, and know were communities actually using an equity lens to allocate the funds. First, ARPA served as a conduit through which the Biden administration's groundbreaking equity policies reverberated in local communities, empowering bolder, more targeted investments.
So the Indianapolis Foundation, we focused on the root causes of violence. And we focused on youth empowerment. We focused on restoration and resilience, things that bring community together in spaces of joy. And joy is a part of what feeds into people's essence of wanting to even be resilient and seeing themselves.
Second, ARPA fueled local policy movements like guaranteed income and medical debt cancellation, building momentum for larger national scale policies.
So far, we've been able to eliminate $348 million in debt for more than 200,000 county residents. We put aside $42 million for a guaranteed income program, $12 million for medical debt relief, $85 million for violence prevention initiatives. States and cities around the country asked us for information about how we went about this and have decided to pursue programs of their own.
And third, some communities seized the ARPA opportunity to innovate for equity. Boston's Green New Deal, LA County's equity funding formula, Roanoke, Virginia partnering with Goodwill to open a grocery store in a food desert.
We made sure that we prioritized BIPOC-led organizations because they were often left out.
We wanted for the first time local governments to be able to design programs that wouldn't just address what had gotten slightly worse during the pandemic, but existing disparities. We said you can use these funds to attack the whole problem.
Advocacy is empowered with data and transparency.
Federal funds don't often reach the highest need communities because they are not using a guided approach through data and community input that allows them to be more specific and directed in terms of where they're targeting those dollars and services. When we learned about the American Rescue Plan funds that were coming down, we had already developed a pretty sophisticated data tool that allowed us to identify highest need communities. We use that tool to immediately contact our partners and meet with the Board of Supervisors to start talking about ways that we can use this tool to target highest need communities with additional revenues. For us, we were just very much alert and aware that the pandemic was having a disproportionate impact on communities of color, low-income communities of color, and without a specific intervention, we were not confident that the county would be able to intervene and be able to actually help these communities without guidance.
So we need a planning process to figure out how to use these resources in the most impactful way.
There's a reason why we don't have more BIPOC-led organizations scaling at the rates of which they could, and part of it is because we don't come alongside and see what else do they need besides money.
And for community groups, the ARPA experience shows how they can analyze their local budgets for equity and advocate for more equitable public investments. There are a few lessons. One is the power of an equity mandate and how local communities could apply an equity lens to their local budgets.
And I think that will be seen as one of the enduring accomplishments of the design and implementation of the American Rescue Plan.
The ARPA grant is more than just the here and now. It is very much about what we want to see a decade from now, what we want to see years to come. And it's really important because that is how we start to really see communities transform.
This is the beginning of a shift in politics that puts equity and inclusion up front. Now we need to complete the task by holding to account with equity scoring for us to really live up to our goals of providing opportunity, equality, and inclusion.